Hello, I'm live from the Malicous Shadows group. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to speed bridge. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider it. It's free, takes a few seconds, and will really help out our channel. Anyway, let's get into the video. The speed bridging method I'm going to be showing you today is one of the fastest and most reliable methods out there. It's very good at going both small distances and long distances, and is fairly easy to master. I'm also going to be doing another speed bridging video soon, so make sure to subscribe for that. And in that video I'm going to be talking about a different method that's quite a lot harder to learn, but it specialises at short distances and pairs really nicely with the method that I'll be showing you today. So this first stage is all about introducing you to speed bridging, getting you used to speed bridging. And in order for you to get to the harder parts of this method, you need to first learn the basics. And so all you're going to do is learn how to do a 3-block walk speed bridge. So you want to go to the edge of your block here, count 3 blocks back, and then you go jump and place a single block underneath you on this 3rd block. So you should have 1 raise and 2 lowered. You're then going to look at this place here, which is the top of the 1st block in front of you, and you'll walk forwards whilst holding down your build button, because if you try and spam it won't work. So you're just going to hold down your build button and walk forwards. As you can see, I'm speed bridging now. Stage 2 really isn't that much harder than stage 1. You do the exact same thing, you go 3 blocks back from the void, and 1 block up. You then point your cursor at just below the intersection between the 2 blocks in front of you. And then the only difference is that you're going to be sprinting now. This is slightly harder because it throws off your timing a little bit, so you want it to change where your cursor's pointing and pull it a little bit further down, so that when you sprint forwards you don't sprint and miss the 1st block entirely, which can sometimes happen. And you just need to really make sure you practice this and find that sweet spot. And once you do, it comes easy, it comes naturally, and it's super reliable. Stage 3 is where things get a little more difficult, and that's because you'll be sprint jumping now, and it requires an extra step for you to be able to sprint jump consistently. So what you're going to do is the exact same thing as stage 2, you're going to go back 3 blocks, 1 block up, look slightly below that intersection, you might need to angle your cursor slightly further down, because you're going to be sprint jumping now. And what you're going to do is you're going to sprint forward to begin with, no sprint jumping, and then place those 2 blocks whilst holding down your build button. Place those 2 blocks like you did in stage 1 and stage 2. And as soon as you place those first 2 blocks, you want to snap your cursor so it's going as far down as possible. So you place the 2 blocks sprinting, and you snap your cursor down, and then you can start sprint jumping. Your cursor has to be like right as far down as possible, or slightly above as far down as possible, because otherwise when you sprint jump, the blocks will not place in the right place, and you'll just find you just fall off the bridge. Stage 4 is quite a bit harder than stage 3, and that's because in order to do stage 4, you're skipping out the 1st block entirely. You're now going to use 2 blocks. So whereas you go 3 blocks back and then 1 block up, and then place 2 blocks and carry on running forwards, this one you're literally just going to place 2 blocks and run forwards. So you will line yourself up on the 2nd block and have your cursor pointing directly downwards, because this will be helpful later when you try sprint jumping. And you've got to make sure it's once again pointing towards the edge of that 1st block. So it's almost at the intersection, but not quite, because if it's over the intersection, it won't work. Then you're going to jump up, place a block underneath you, and then walk forwards. And that should mean that you'll jump up, place a block underneath you, land on that same block, and then walk forward placing continuous blocks in a line. It can be quite hard to begin with, it takes a little while to master. If you keep practicing, you should be able to find a sweet spot where your cursor is, and it should work and should be very reliable once you get it down. Stage 5 is very much like Stage 2. You're going to do exactly what you did in Stage 4, but this time running. So you're going to do the exact same thing, the exact same lineup. You're going to go 2 blocks back, look towards the intersection with your cursor facing down, as far down as possible, or slightly above as far down as possible. Then what you're going to do, you're going to jump up in the air, place a block underneath you, and then sprint forwards whilst holding down your build button. When you place a block underneath you, you've got to make sure you're holding down your build button, you don't let go. So it's not place a block underneath you, let go of the build button, then place more blocks. It's jump up in the air, hold down build button, place a block underneath you, and then carry on walking forwards. Stage 6 is the exact same as Stage 5, apart from now you're sprint jumping. And there should be quite an easy transition, because your cursor's already facing down. So unlike when you're going from Stage 2 to Stage 3, you don't need to adjust your camera angle midway through the speed bridge. And for this, you're literally once again going to line up towards the edge of that intersection, slightly below. You're then going to jump up, hold down your build button, place 1 block underneath you, and then start walking forwards. And as soon as you place that second block, start sprint jumping. It's usually better if you don't start sprint jumping on the first block, because that could mean you jump too high and it messes up your second block placement, and that second block placement's key, because that is what allows you to carry on speed bridging. You've got to always have at least like 2 blocks in a row, otherwise your speed bridging won't work. Stage 7 is the final stage. So by this point you've learned how to do a 3 block speed bridge whilst walking, then you've done a 3 block speed bridge whilst running, 3 block speed bridge whilst sprint jumping, you've then done a 2 block speed bridging whilst walking, 2 block speed bridge whilst sprinting, and 2 block speed bridge whilst sprint jumping. And this final stage you're learning how to do a 1 block speed bridge. And this one you can do walking, sprinting, jumping. I decided not to make an R3 because it's very similar to stages 4 to 6. And all it relies on is a simple but rather confusing game mechanic. As you can see here, I'm up on a platform, I've got my turquoise block in front of me, and it's the same level as my wooden platform. Now if I try and sprint jump here, it's the exact same as if I'm doing stage 6. It works perfectly. Now if you see, if I remove that turquoise block completely, I can't do 1 block speed bridge. The second I try to do 1 block speed bridge, I just fall down and it fails. The 1 block speed bridge is not a true 1 block speed bridge. As you can see, what it requires is a block, and this is represented by a turquoise block, to be 1 block lower than the level you're on. So you've got your wooden slats here, and then you've got turquoise block 1 block lower. And for some reason, this means that you can do a 2 block speed bridge and have 1 block floating in midair. So when you try and do a 2 block speed bridge, it looks like your second block should go and just sit on top of that 1 block down, but in reality, it floats in midair. I'm not exactly sure why this happens, and it's quite weird. It's very helpful because it means you can conserve blocks. This speed bridging method also works if the turquoise block is 2 blocks lower. So as you can see, I've got my wooden platform, my turquoise block is 2 blocks lower. And it works the exact same, there's no difference. Once again, it really does not look like it should work. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between having a block underneath you and the void. But for some reason, some strange game mechanic means it does work. And finally, you got a 3 blocks down. And you think, following along the pattern, this would also work, but it doesn't. If it's 3 blocks down, it doesn't work for the speed bridging method, so you've got to make sure if you're going to do a 1 block speed bridging method, that secondary block needs to be either 1 block lower or 2 blocks lower. Because if it goes 3 blocks lower, it's the same as you just building out into the void. You'll fall, and unless you land on that 3rd block, you're probably going to die. The 1 block speed bridging method is especially useful for maps like Facility and Castle if you're playing Treasure Wars, or maps like Wildwood and Violet Keep if you're playing Skywars, or just any map or anywhere that has a rough edge like this. That's all from me today, but like I said, I will be making another speed bridging video talking about a different method that's far better at short distances and couples very well with this speed bridging method. So make sure you're subscribed and watch that one. Whilst you're down there, make sure you like and check out some of our other videos, like our Skywars trap montages. Anyway, that's all from me, so I'll see you all later.